The danger of unconscious bias is that you are damaging your reputation, you're increasing risk, you're reducing your ability to hire and keep talent, you're losing out on innovation and creativity and affecting your performance. So there's a real downside to having unconscious bias in the driving seat. So I realised that I had to change the way that I had been thinking about discrimination, because I had always thought about it as something that nasty people with nasty values did. And here I had the nicest bunch of people I had ever met in all my career, and they were definitely discriminating against each other. So I needed to change the question. And the question became, why is it that good people, people who are dedicated to being fair and egalitarian, why are they still discriminating? And so unconscious bias became part of that answer, which is what we're going to focus on today. But structural bias, bias that's built into our systems and processes, that is also the other side of the answer, and it definitely always has to be borne in mind. So the best way to mitigate against unconscious bias is to assume that you have that bias. If there is a major association or stereotype out there in the media, in society, then it's very likely that we are affected by it. Or you can go and get yourself tested to know for sure. And then in high stakes situations like interviews or promotion decisions, or when someone is joining the board for the first time, you monitor yourself, and if you see your behaviour and your feelings and emotions are pushing you in line with the stereotype, you pause and you deliberately push yourself in the opposite. So if you see someone and you immediately think, okay, I'm not sure about them, then you say, right, that's likely to be a bias. I'm now going to deliberately go and introduce myself to them and be very warm, so that I counteract the direction of the bias. So, research has shown that the more meritocratic you think you are, and the more intelligent you are, the bigger your bias blind spot. Because you think, they're the valuable human beings, they're the ones who are discriminating. People like me, I'm a good Guardian reader, I didn't vote for Brexit, or however it is that you define yourself in terms of being a good person. I know I'm a good person, I believe I'm a good person, and therefore I don't have to worry about sticking to the letter of the recruitment procedures. What we need to do is to be able to look at our headcount statistics, and if we find that there is disparity, we have to accept, well, probably we are part of the status quo and part of the system that is helping us achieve this. What I hope the audience takes away from today is the problem is not about having biases, because we all have them, it's unavoidable. The problem is not knowing you have the bias, and so the bias is on the driving seat, driving you in one direction when you are looking in the opposite. So if you know you have the bias, you can take control of that steering wheel in high stakes situations, and so you can act in a way that is opposite to the direction of the bias. Unconscious bias is something that we need to see as a prejudice reduction habit. We need to identify what we're going to do, and we need to be willing to practice it over and over and over again. Because what we've got to remember is that the media and the status quo in our organisations will be constantly trying to reinforce business as usual. And so that if we are committed to change, then it's something that we need to keep coming back to again and again and again.